Welcome to another tips and techniques video. Today we're talking about the Beetle tailgate and different options for latches. So here I have a Beetle tailgate, and if I recall correctly, this will also work for the Audi tailgate, but not on the Jetta or any of the ones that use the Ranger tailgate. So this is specifically for any of the Smyth Utes that use the aluminum with the fiberglass skin. So here's a assembled tailgate without the skin. So here's a latch that's done as per the kit with the biothane strip. The little quick connectors, right? It's kind of like a D-ring, but they're circular. And you just run that biothane strap through the holes provided. And then to unlatch it, you pull on this. Sometimes you have to kind of go both ways, and that pulls your latches in on the side so your tailgate will drop down. Not too bad a plan, but not everybody's happy with it. I wasn't really happy with it. I think it's a limited lifetime on it wearing here because every time you pull it, it's gonna chafe a little bit. Of course, you sand this really nice and smooth before you assemble it. But I wanted to try something different, and quite a few guys have. I've been looking for a tailgate handle that I like for a while now, and it was Tim Burns that came up with the great idea. I've looked at, of course, different trucks, right? But then you got to match the outside profile on your inside so that the latch will sit nicely and look clean in there. Sat down with Mr. Parker, and we were looking at truck boxes, like in-bed boxes. They have a latch that's similar to this, and they are available with locking. They come in 3 varieties. Some of them just have a latch that comes up, so you have to look for the type that has the pull. This is the mechanism that will work. But here's the easy answer, in my opinion. This is just too easy, so this is the one I'm going with, and so far I really like it. And we'll retrofit it onto this tailgate today, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. This is a Polaris Ranger 500 tailgate handle. I got mine, oh, pardon me, should have had this queued up. Quad Logic, ordered it online. They were 18 bucks a piece. I ordered 2 of them, didn't have to pay any shipping, so that we got the one for Ethan's, and then this is gonna go for the one that I'm working on right now. It looks pretty good. It's nice and solid. For 18 bucks, can't beat it. So here's how I'm gonna fit it. So step 1 is I took just a piece of plastic out of you could use cardboard, whatever, and made myself a nice template. And you gotta watch, there's some little pins there that you're gonna have to fit through. So, but I'll show you how this works out. So basically, I cut myself a template of the right size, right, that will fit over that. So I'm getting this dimension. It's a little bit tricky because there's a radius here in that, back in here, and you want this to sit nice and flush. So then took my template and traced it out on the tailgate. So here you can see where I've traced the template. Basically just draw a flat line across the top of the existing holes and then center that bottom underneath. And the flange on that handle is enough to cover this. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out and take the strap out and then cut it out. And then I'll show you how I put that in. So here's what it looks like with the hole cut and the holes drilled for some bolts or rivets or something. Pretty easy. You can use a multitude of tools. I use a cutoff wheel and then opened up those corners with a rat tail file to give it a nice round. You can pre-drill them and then cut it with this. I use my body saw. I love this tool. This is one of my favorites, especially cutting on the body of the car. You use a jigsaw, whatever. Hole drilled. Set that guy in, and that comes out pretty clean. I'm pretty happy the way that looks. There's several techniques you could use for attaching it. You could just drill some 3/16 holes and put some rivets through. You could put, I just tapped the aluminum, so I put a 5x100 thread on it. You can put a nut on the back if you want, But a consideration is taking this off later when you have the the fiberglass skin glued on. So I'm trying to set it up so that I could replace whatever my pull mechanism is without having to take that fiberglass off. So I'm gonna bolt it so that I can get it from the front. You could also put riv nuts in there. You can put the rivets and just drill them when you need to change it. It's up to your imagination and what you like to work with. So have at it there. I tapped it out to 5x100 and got some little 5mm bolts that fit in there. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, I'll put the links and specs on everything I'm using here in the comments, so you can look those up here when we're done. So we'll get this on, and then we'll look at how we're actually going to hook it up to the actual latch. So here we are looking at the inside the tailgate. Right, there's that new latch mechanism. So now all we have to do is hook up the arms from the latch mechanism, from the latch handle to the latches that actually hold the tailgate in against the sides of the bed. Several techniques you can do, and it kind of depends on what you like to work with, what you have around, and what you want to do. One idea is to just take the existing biothane strip, right? Use it just like it is, cut it a little bit short, put a 1/4 inch hole in it, set that over the pin, and then run a small bolt or a cotter pin or something through there to keep that strap from pulling back over. Obviously, I don't have this cut to the right length, but that's basically how the mechanism is going to work then. And it would just pull that latch out the way it is. Good thing about the biothane strip is you already have it. It's pretty tough stuff. It's not going to get any UV degradation inside the tailgate. It's not going to corrode. And that's a pretty simple connection to make. If it does break or for whatever reason you need to take this apart, I bet you could take those 4 bolts out, pull that latch out to the front, and be able to work in here and pull that pin off, pull that off, and then your latch can come out. Then you can pull the side latches out, whichever, the way you need for whatever. Another technique is to use some rod. Unfortunately, I don't have the right length of rod, the right diameter. 3/16 is what you'd want. And basically you'd take a short piece of rod of 3/16, put a bend on it, maybe just a little bit more than 90 degrees, stick that down through this hole or maybe even up from the back and bend it over, and then put a bend through, well, let's get this out of the way so we can see here. Put a bend through the end of the side latches, and then as that pulls in, that rod, and that's the way most tailgates work. You could put a little plastic snap keeper on so that it doesn't jiggle back out. So that's another technique, is with a rod. Another idea is with cable. So I'm a little bit of a bike guy, so I've got bike stuff laying around. I really like mountain bike cables. It already has that nice head on it that sits down into the latch well. So you cut one the length. Of course, you can get those on Amazon too if you don't have them, or your local bike shop. It fits through the hole here. And now you can either use a swaging tool to put a swage on it and crimp that down, or you can use from bike or carburetor the cable stops, right? It has a little hole in it. You tighten that bolt down, and these on Amazon are, I think it was $3 for a pack of 6. I'll put that link in the description. But basically, you're just gonna slide that on the cable there. Don't want it too tight, but you don't want a whole lot of slop. Tighten that screw down, and that way you have a swage basically that you can take on and off. And then when you pull it, oh, I gotta tighten it up a little more than that. By hand is not tight enough. So then when you pull that, you can see that latch coming with it. If you don't want to use the bike cable, 16th cable, this is braided stainless cable left over from another project I had. Again, doing some swages. You know, you could swage that around, bring it through, put another swage on it, or use, you know, one of these clamps. Here's another from a mountain bike brake style clamp, right? As you tighten that nut down, It'll pinch the cable that goes through the hole in the head there. You could use those on either end. So there's a million different ways you can do it, depending on what you like. I'm gonna go with these mountain bike brake cables because I have everything I need to do that, and I'm pretty confident in them. It sits down in here nice, so there's no stress on the cable. Of course, it comes straight through. I'll put a little dot of thread locker on there, and I don't think I'll ever have to get back into that. But those are my ideas on the tailgate handle. Again, thanks to Tim Burns for finding this Polaris Ranger 500 tailgate handle. It's a little bit different than the 900. I haven't held them both in my hands to compare them and see what the difference is, but they are different part numbers. So I'm pretty confident you could make an 800 work also, but with how easy this is to put in and how simple it is to figure out what you're gonna do here, I'm all about it. So those are my ideas for the tailgate handle for the Beetle Ute or the Audi Ute from Smyth Performance Kit. Pretty simple stuff. Again, thanks to Tim Burns for finding that the Polaris 500 tailgate handle works pretty good. Pretty simple stuff. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching.